I'm Drex, and this is Introduction to Poi Spinning from Spinballs. In this video, we're going to cover one of the most recognizable and popular poi tricks in the world, the 3-beat weave. This is the move that nearly everyone has in mind when they decide that they want to learn to spin poi. It's also one of the first major accomplishments that poi spinners rack up in their flow journey. 3-beat weaves are similar to 2-beat weaves in that the poi are spinning in split time same direction and involve the arms crossing over each other. Unlike 2-beat weaves, the 3-beat weave alternates which hand is on top. Because of this, even though 2-beat weaves have an even number of beats, they also tend to look asymmetrical. 3-beat weaves, on the other hand, look as though the movements are balanced on each side of the body. I know 3 useful exercises for learning 3-beat weaves. They are as follows. The first method involves training each hand individually to perform the movements of the trick and eventually put them together. We can do this either by dropping the poi in one hand or wrapping it all the way up so that its hand can hold onto it. With the other hand, you're going to spin the poi forward and practice performing a tic-tac that goes back and forth above the other hand. Now you're going to perform a tic-tac that goes back and forth below the other hand. Once these both feel comfortable, you're going to tic-tac over the other hand and then follow the forward momentum of the poi around underneath the hand before tic-tacking back to the native side. So this entire sequence can be essentially thought of as over, under, back, over, under, back. Practice this until you can do it 10 times in a row with this hand, and then work to learn it on the other hand. Going over, under, back 10 times in a row. When both hands have this sequence down, try performing it with both hands at the same time. Let your dominant hand lead its way through the sequence and get your poi to keep constantly twisting and untwisting. The second method utilizes 2-beat weaves, which are covered in another video. If you got them down with both your right hand on top as well as your left hand on top, you can try this exercise. Otherwise, you might want to go back and review them before going forwards. You'll want to start with your poi spinning at your sides in split time, same direction. Now, perform a 2-beat weave by crossing one hand over the other. It doesn't matter which one. But when you return to having your hands uncrossed, you're going to count down 1, 2, 3 beats, and then cross the opposite hand over. Uncross your hands once again, and then cross the first hand over. Now, go back and forth like this, alternating which hand is on top with 3 beats in between each crossover. Practice this until you can go back and forth no fewer than 10 times. Now, try reducing the number of beats in between each crossover to only 2, counting off 1, 2 before crossing over one hand and 1, 2 before crossing over the other. Again, practice this until you can go back and forth no fewer than 10 times. Now, try reducing the number of beats in between each crossover to just 1 beat. This will mean that every time you uncross your hands, you'll instantly be switching over which hand will go on top. Your final challenge is to try and switch which hand is on top without uncrossing. First, thinking right hand on top, then left hand, right hand, and so on. Initially, this is probably going to feel a little odd. It's almost guaranteed that you'll find yourself gravitating to keeping your dominant hand on top. If this is the case, try and think that your dominant hand has to wind up in your non-dominant hand's armpit after you've crossed it over. It gets an extra beat while the non-dominant hand comes around on top. This isn't terribly intuitive, so when your dominant hand crosses over, try counting 1, 2 beats for it before you let it return back to its native side. Another thing you can do to help with this is to start by crossing your non-dominant hand over first so it feels more natural to have your dominant hand come around on top. Try starting the weave this way and see if it makes a difference for you. The final method I know for teaching the 3-beat weave involves wrapping and unwrapping the poi on either side of your body. Here's how it works. First, plant your feet and turn your upper body over to your right. Now, with your right hand crossed under your left, spin your arms and poi around until you cross your right hand over your left, and then stop. Now, turn your upper body over to the left and uncross your hands to recross them with the left hand on top. Stop the poi and turn back to your right side. You should be in the same position that you started in. Now, once again, uncross and recross your hands, turn to your left, uncross and recross your hands, turn back to the right. Once this starts to feel more or less natural, try seeing if you can turn the moment you recross your arms on each side, keeping the poi moving the entire time. If you want to, you can ease yourself into this by having the poi in the hand that goes over on each side continue to spin after it goes over. Like we did with the 2-beat weave exercise, try counting down 1, 2, 3 beats on that top hand before unwrapping and rewrapping. 1, 2, 3 beats on top hand before unwrapping and rewrapping. Then try to see if you can do it in 1, 2 beats, 1, 2 beats, and if you can get it down to just a single beat on each side, congratulations, you're performing the 3-beat weave. 3-beat weaves are a cornerstone of the poi world, but they can also be super challenging. Don't give up if you have difficulties learning this trick. It can take some time to get it down, but the work will absolutely be worth it in the end. Thanks so much for watching. Now show us what you can do. Share your photos and videos of your progress with Spinballs.